Hello everyone! Welcome back to English Listening and Speaking Channel. Don't forget to subscribe my channel for more videos every day.
My new morning routine. Easy English story for beginners. English listening practice. Hello, and welcome to our English learning story. Today, we are going to listen to a simple English story called My New Morning Routine. This story is about a young woman named Emma. Emma is a busy person. She works in an office, but she often feels tired in the morning. She usually wakes up late. She checks her phone in bed. Sometimes she skips breakfast. Sometimes she runs to catch the bus. One day, Emma decides to change her morning routine. She wants to wake up earlier. She wants to feel healthier. She wants to start each day with more energy. So, she creates a new morning routine. Let's listen to Emma's story and learn some useful English along the way. My old morning routine. My name is Emma. I am 25 years old. I live in a busy city and I work in an office. My office is about 30 minutes from my apartment. Every morning, I need to take a bus to work. My work starts at 8:30. For a long time, my mornings were not very good. I usually went to bed late. Sometimes I watched television until midnight. Sometimes I stayed on my phone for hours. I watched videos. I looked at social media. I sent messages to my friends. I told myself, I will go to sleep in 5 minutes. But 5 minutes became 30 minutes. Then 30 minutes became 1 hour. Before I knew it, it was midnight. Sometimes it was even 1 o'clock in the morning. Then, I finally went to sleep. The next morning, my alarm rang at 6:30. Beep! 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 I opened my eyes. I looked at my phone. Then I turned off the alarm. Just 5 more minutes, I said. I closed my eyes. 5 minutes later, my alarm rang again. Beep! 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 I turned it off again. Just 5 more minutes. But 5 minutes was never 5 minutes. Sometimes I slept for another 20 minutes. Then I suddenly woke up. I looked at the clock. Oh no! I was late! I jumped out of bed. I ran to the bathroom. I brushed my teeth quickly. I washed my face. Sometimes I did not have time to take a shower. Then I ran back to my bedroom. I opened my closet. I looked for something to wear. I did not prepare my clothes the night before, so I often spent 10 minutes looking for my clothes. Sometimes I changed my shirt 2 or 3 times. Then I looked at the clock again. Oh no, I have to go! I grabbed my bag. I grabbed my keys. I ran out of my apartment. Sometimes I forgot to eat breakfast. Sometimes I only had a cup of coffee. Then I ran to the bus stop. I often arrived just before the bus. Sometimes I missed the bus. When that happened, I had to wait for another one. I felt stressed. I felt tired. And sometimes I arrived at work late. This was my old morning routine. It was not a good routine. I knew I needed to change. One Monday morning, something happened. I woke up late again. My alarm rang at 6:30, but I did not hear it. I was sleeping deeply. I had gone to bed at 1 o'clock the night before. At 7:30, I suddenly opened my eyes. I looked at the clock. For a moment, I did not understand what time it was. Then I realized. It was 7:30. Oh no! I jumped out of bed. I only had 1 hour before work. I ran to the bathroom. I brushed my teeth. I washed my face. I did not have time for breakfast. I did not have time to make coffee. I quickly put on my clothes. I grabbed my bag. Then I ran outside. I ran to the bus stop. But when I arrived, I saw the bus leaving. No! I waved my hands. But the bus did not stop. I missed it. I had to wait for another bus. I stood at the bus stop. I was tired. I was hungry. I was angry with myself. I looked at the other people. Everyone looked calm. Some people were drinking coffee. Some people were listening to music. Some people were reading. I thought, why is my morning always so stressful? Then I realized something. The problem was not my job. The problem was not the bus. The problem was my morning routine. I was making my mornings difficult. I was going to bed too late. I was waking up too late. I was checking my phone before getting out of bed. I was not preparing anything the night before. I was always rushing. I thought about my life. I did not want to feel like this every morning. I wanted to wake up feeling calm. I wanted to have time for breakfast. I wanted to have time to exercise. I wanted to leave my apartment without running. I wanted to start my day in a better way. That morning, I made a decision. I was going to create a new morning routine. I was going to cook breakfast every day. I was going to exercise in the morning. That evening, I went home after work. I sat at my kitchen table. I took a piece of paper. Then I wrote, "My new morning routine." First, I decided to go to bed earlier. I wanted to sleep at least 7 or 8 hours every night. I decided to stop using my phone at 10 o'clock. No more videos, no more social media, no more messages late at night. At 10:30, I would go to bed. Second, I decided to wake up at 6:30. I did not want to wake up late anymore. I wanted to have enough time in the morning. Third, I decided to prepare everything the night before. I would prepare my clothes. I would prepare my work bag. I would prepare my breakfast. I would also check the weather. This way, I would not need to make too many decisions in the morning. Fourth, I wanted to exercise. I did not want to go to the gym for 2 hours. I only wanted to exercise for 15 minutes. I could walk. I could stretch. I could do simple exercises at home. Finally, I wanted to have a healthy breakfast. I usually skipped breakfast, but I knew breakfast was important. So, I decided to eat something simple. Maybe eggs, maybe fruit, maybe bread and yogurt. I looked at my plan. It looked simple, but I knew it would not be easy. Changing a habit takes time. Still, I wanted to try. I put the paper on my desk. Then I prepared my clothes for the next morning. I chose a white shirt. I chose a pair of black pants. I put them on a chair. Then I prepared my work bag. I put my laptop inside. I put my notebook inside. I put my keys next to my bag. I also prepared my breakfast. I put some fruit in the refrigerator. I prepared 2 eggs. Everything was ready. Then, the next morning, my alarm rang at 6:30. Beep. 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 I opened my eyes. For a moment, I wanted to sleep again. I wanted to say, just 5 more minutes. But then, I remembered my new morning routine. I sat up. I got out of bed. I turned off the alarm. Then I opened the curtains. The morning sun was coming through the window. The sky was beautiful. The city was quiet. I took a deep breath. I felt good. Then I went to the bathroom. I brushed my teeth. I washed my face. Then I took a shower. I put on the clothes I had prepared the night before. It was easy. I did not have to think about what to wear. I looked at the clock. It was 7 o'clock. I still had plenty of time. I went to the kitchen. I made breakfast. I cooked 2 eggs. I cut an apple. I also made a cup of coffee. Then I sat at the table. I ate slowly. I did not look at my phone. I did not check social media. I just enjoyed my breakfast. It felt strange. Usually I was running around my apartment. But this morning was different. I had time. I felt calm. After breakfast, I washed the dishes. Then I did 15 minutes of exercise. First, I stretched my arms. Then I stretched my legs. I did some simple exercises. I moved my body. After 15 minutes, I felt more awake. I was not tired anymore. I looked at the clock. It was 7:30. I still had 1 hour before work. I could not believe it. I had already eaten breakfast. I had exercised. I had taken a shower. I was dressed. My bag was ready. And I still had time. I smiled. This is amazing, I thought. At 7:45, I left my apartment. I locked the door. Then I walked to the bus stop. I did not run. I did not feel stressed. I walked slowly. I looked at the city. The streets were becoming busy. People were going to work. Children were going to school. Some people were walking their dogs. Some people were buying coffee. I arrived at the bus stop. The bus came 5 minutes later. I got on. There were many empty seats. I sat near the window. I looked outside. I had never really noticed the city in the morning before. Usually, I was too busy running. But now, I had time to look around. I saw a small coffee shop. I saw a bakery. I saw a park. I saw people walking. The city looked beautiful. I put on my headphones. I listened to some quiet music. The bus continued toward my office. I looked at my watch. It was 8:10. I still had 20 minutes before work. I felt relaxed. I was 10 minutes early. I walked into the building. I took the elevator. Then I went to my desk. I put my bag down. I turned on my computer. My coworker David looked at me. "Good morning, Emma." "Good morning, David." "You are early today." I smiled. "Yes. Are you okay?" I laughed. Yes, I'm great. David looked surprised. You look different. Different? Yes, you look very relaxed. I smiled. I started a new morning routine. Really? Yes. What do you do? I told him about my new routine. I go to bed earlier. That is good. I wake up at 6:30. Wow. I eat breakfast. That's healthy. I also exercise for 15 minutes. David smiled. That sounds like a good routine. It is. Maybe I should try it too. I laughed. You should. The next morning, I followed my routine again. But it was not as easy as the first day. My alarm rang at 6:30. I opened my eyes. I was tired. I wanted to sleep. I looked at my warm bed. It was very comfortable. I thought, maybe I can sleep for another 30 minutes. I almost turned off the alarm. But then I remembered my goal. I wanted to build a new habit. So I got out of bed. I opened the curtains. I made my bed. Then I went to the bathroom. I washed my face. After that, I went to the kitchen. I made breakfast. Then I exercised. It was difficult. I did not feel as energetic as yesterday. But I continued. After 15 minutes, I finished. I was tired, but I felt proud. I had done it again. I realized something. The first day was easy because I was excited. The second day was harder, but I knew that I needed to continue. A good routine is not about doing something once. It is about doing something again and again. So, I continued. 1 week passed. Then 2 weeks. Then 3 weeks. Slowly, my new morning routine became normal. I started waking up at 6:30 without feeling tired. Sometimes, I even woke up before my alarm. I stopped checking my phone in bed. I started drinking more water. I ate breakfast every morning. I exercised for 15 minutes. Sometimes I went for a short walk. Sometimes I stayed home and stretched. I also started reading for 10 minutes. I read simple English stories. Sometimes I read books. Sometimes I listened to English podcasts. This became my favorite part of the morning. I realized that I had more time than I thought. Before, I always said, I don't have enough time. But now, I understood. I did have time. I just needed to use it better. My mornings became peaceful. I stopped rushing. I stopped running to the bus. I stopped skipping breakfast. I stopped arriving at work tired. I also started feeling better during the day. I had more energy. I could concentrate better. I felt happier. My coworkers noticed the change. One morning, David asked me, Emma, what happened to you? What do you mean? You're always smiling now. I laughed. I changed my morning routine. That's all? Maybe. What's your secret? I thought for a moment. Then I said, I stopped rushing. David nodded. That makes sense. One morning, something unexpected happened. I woke up at 6:30. I opened the curtains. It was raining. The sky was dark. The streets were wet. I checked the weather. The rain was going to continue all morning. Normally, this would have been a big problem. I would have rushed around. I would have looked for an umbrella. I would have missed the bus. But this time, I was prepared. The night before, I had checked the weather. I had put my umbrella next to the door. I had also prepared my raincoat. I smiled. I took a shower. I got dressed. Then I had breakfast. I made some hot tea. I sat near the window. I watched the rain. It was peaceful. I had time to enjoy the morning. At 7:45, I put on my raincoat. I took my umbrella. Then I left my apartment. I walked to the bus stop. The rain was falling heavily, but I did not worry. I had planned ahead. The bus arrived. I got on. I found a seat. Then I looked out the window. The city looked beautiful in the rain. I smiled. I realized something. My new morning routine was not just about waking up early. It was about being prepared. It was about having enough time. It was about starting the day calmly. One Saturday morning, I decided to try something new. I woke up at 7. I did not have to go to work, but I still wanted to follow my routine. I opened the curtains. The sun was shining. The weather was perfect. I put on my walking shoes. Then I went outside. I walked to the park. The park was beautiful. There were many trees. There were flowers. There were birds. People were walking and running. Some people were sitting on benches. I walked for 30 minutes. Then I sat on a bench. I took a deep breath. I felt happy. I thought about my old mornings. I used to wake up late. I used to rush. I used to skip breakfast. I used to check my phone all the time. Now, everything was different. I had created a simple routine. It was not perfect. Sometimes I still woke up late. Sometimes I skipped exercise. Sometimes I stayed up too late. But I did not give up. If I had a bad morning, I simply started again the next day. I learned that a routine does not have to be perfect. It just needs to be helpful. After several weeks, I learned many things. First, I learned that sleep is important. When I go to bed early, I feel better in the morning. Second, I learned that preparation saves time. When I prepare my clothes and my bag the night before, my morning is easier. Third, I learned that breakfast is important. When I eat breakfast, I have more energy. Fourth, I learned that exercise does not have to be difficult. Even 15 minutes can make a difference. Finally, I learned that I do not need to check my phone as soon as I wake up. The world can wait. My messages can wait. Social media can wait. My morning is my time. I can start my day slowly. I can think. I can breathe. I can prepare. And I can choose how I want to start my day. My new morning routine changed my life. Not in a big way. Not in one day. But little by little. Every morning, I made one small improvement. And those small improvements became big changes. So, that is the story of my new morning routine. Before, my mornings were stressful. I woke up late. I rushed to work. I skipped breakfast. I often felt tired. But then I decided to change. I started going to bed earlier. I woke up earlier. I prepared my things the night before. I ate breakfast. I exercised. I stopped checking my phone in bed. And most importantly, I stopped rushing. Now, my mornings are calm. I have more energy. I feel happier. And I start each day with a positive feeling. Remember, you don't need to change everything at once. Start with one small habit. Maybe wake up 10 minutes earlier. Maybe drink a glass of water. Maybe eat breakfast. Maybe take a short walk. Maybe prepare your clothes the night before. Small changes can make a big difference. And if you have a bad day, don't worry. Just start again tomorrow. Thank you for listening to this English story. I hope you enjoyed my new morning routine. I also hope you learned some useful English words and expressions. Keep listening. Keep practicing. Keep learning. And remember, a good morning can help you have a good day. See you in the next English story.